Storm in that second phase if TnC don't respect ban it.
Okay. Well, Team Dog, they do go back for the Enchantress now, so starting off with that Enchantress pick, looks like TnC probably won't bother with the Shaman anyway, though, right? Like, you've got the Mirana there, so you're probably not too interested in going for the Shaman unless you are going to run it as a position 5. But I think the hero might be a little bit too weak in the 5 role right now.
Definitely.
I said that about Shaman in the 4 role, but obviously Tim's proved me wrong. But the 5 role, it's too selfless. You still need an Aether Lens, you still need a Blink Up. It is probably a bit too selfless to expect a good Shaman performance without having that kind of initiation tool available. Still, TnC could pick it up if they want, but they won't. They go back for the older Titan, which could mean we might see the Morphling come back out if TnC feel like that's what they need to run to win out this game number 4.
Yep, it's a possibility. ET Morphling is good, and as long as the Morphling's in the pool, I will always have to point out that they could pull out the Wind Ranger. TnC's been very fond of that Wind Ranger the past few days. It has not worked out recently, but it's a pocket pick they like. So the options are there for TnC. Team Dog, and they've got that Ench, very stable sort of support to have. Of course, it's the Ench into the Mirana, so you've got the Arrow to deal with on the creeps. At the same time, you can use your creeps to block out some Arrow opportunities, as we were seeing from the last game. So it's a back and forth one for Team Dog. You've got some potential there. Looks like they will think a bit hard about this pickup. I'm really considering it, really digging into the reserve time. Not typical for the first phase, but they are weighing out their options. There's potential here for TnC to run the ET off and kind of throw off Team Dog, but they go with the Earth Spirit. And this is something I love seeing here. Afu, Earth Spirit, always a treat to watch.
That it is. It is very pleasurable to watch Afu on this Earth Spirit. In fact, Earth Spirit in and of itself, John, fantastic hero. Obviously, everyone knows that. Probably the best hero in Dota. Always, no matter what happens to it. I've got to say as well, I mean, we saw the shards being picked up very often on these Earth Spirits now, and I do really like that shards. I think we talked about it yesterday, but you get the 4 bonus charges of your Stone Remnants, which is much more. It makes it so much more comfortable to play the hero, so you don't feel quite as limited. But as well as that, the give 400 vision. When you place them, you can essentially place them preemptively as a ward on a high ground before you move up. And we saw that earlier on today, I believe it was, and it was very effective. Who feels the necessity to do that this game is entirely up to him. We'll find out, but I think there is a lot of value in picking up those shards for 1400 gold and essentially having unlimited wards every time you go for a smoke or you go for a big team fight.
Yeah, it's just so much utility coming out from that one. I think it's a definite pickup there for pause 4 Earth Spirits. Just really nice spike, especially since it opens up at the 20-minute mark. If you actually grab it right then, just vision at that mark with your stones, having that capability to scout out and initiate with your stones as well, having more charges. It does feel rather broken when you put it in that context. If you just save up, time it at the 20-minute mark right as it flies out. There's a lot of potential there. We'll see if that's something Afu will prioritize, as you mentioned. He might opt for more utility in his build rather than just raw vision. You can see the back and forth bans here. TnC take out the Tide Hunter, so that's a sign for Team Dog to take out something like the Faceless Void, as they wouldn't have the Ravage to contend with that. Of course, Void plus ET is a strong combo here from TnC as well. And Gabby is a mean Void player. Just taking out some comfort picks here. Morphling still in the pool. Team Dog might want to consider that for a last stand, but TnC as well have to think about that Storm Spirit in the pool for Abed. We saw him struggle in game 2, but game number 3 was a shining performance and a good example of why you banned the Storm against Abed.
Absolutely.
Dire team ban.
See the Void Spirit being banned out as well by TnC. They don't seem to want to give that option away if Abed does want to pick it up. And in all fairness, Abed does play a very nice Void Spirit as well. Though I do wonder if he's going to go back to the Storm now. Like, the first game he picked it up, it didn't work out. But everything after that has looked pretty good. He had a very tough lane matchup into Armel's Lena that last game, but it just didn't seem to bother him. He caught up and made the work happen.
Storm
and yes,
Spirit.
the answer is yes, they will go back for the Storm.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
No, there's no reason not to go for it. You see a Mirana ET, you know there's no instant Hex, you know there's no room for the Shadow Shaman, no room for a Lion, nothing like that can come out.
10 seconds.
And Mirana ET is not very stable hold. We're talking about Stomp and Arrow.
5 seconds remaining.
Storm is a very slippery target. You are probably not going to be locking in Abed. We'll see if TnC can maybe draft something in that can hold them down. Void would have been nice, but again, that was banned out. Perhaps they look at something like, say, a Bat Rider. Could be an option, as Team Dog does not have anything to break the lasso. And that is something we've seen Armel play a lot of if they want to go that route. So could be something they could consider for their pickup. But Abed's just really comfy in this game. They go to DP instead, so they're going in for the push potential coming out, the stability in lane the DP has. We have seen DP a couple of times now, and we've seen DPs pick up the shard upgrade as well, which does give you minus armor in the Spirit Siphon, if I recall right, giving that to the DP. Hasn't been the most impactful, but that sort of utility shift is there for the DP if they wanted to amp up some minus armor. Probably not the priority, and we'll have to see how much Armel can get out of this lane. He has to bully Abed out. Like, you can't allow this guy to have that time as he meets. And Team Dog, I think, are going to look to play aggressive down mid again. You've got Afu, Earth Spirit, rotations down mid with the Storm. Going to be really easy to pull off.
Absolutely. That shards upgrade for the DP is actually very interesting. I hadn't read up on it myself, but I guess if you have the right kind of position 1, it can be quite impactful. Still, Team Dog happily go into the Spectre now for their own position 1. In terms of Gabby's pick, I suppose you can go into the PA now if you want. Could be pretty dangerous into the Spectre, but
10 seconds remaining.
You know, Gab might just say, you know what, that game we just went past, that wasn't really me. Let me just run it back, try it again. You do also have the Troll there if you want to try the Troll Warlord on Gabby. The Terrorblade seems very, very nice right now for Gabby if you want to pick that up. In fact, I'd say the TB is probably one of their best options. Yeah. For the position 1 of TnC if they wanted to pick it up and run that up against the Spectre.
It definitely ties in nicely. You've got the DP to pile onto that early push you can get with Metamorphosis. You've got a lot of early presence with damage out. I would worry about the silence from the Earth Spirit here, along with the magic damage from the Storm and the pure damage from the Ench.
Right.
Like, Impetus isn't, like, stable for a support, but it will rip through a Terrorblade, so it could be vulnerable to just being squishy in terms of raw HP. TnC really digging into that reserve time, though. Like, they're not going to have much left for that last pick.
Wow, they go for an Underlord out, so that should be KB's hero. And that'll make it very difficult for the Spectre in terms of CSing the lane. Just kind of like what they did to Gabby last game. They ran the Enigma, they basically just denied a bunch of creeps away. Underlord does effectively the same thing to a hero like Spectre, who doesn't have the craziest base damage. So I do like this pick from TnC. I think it is going to allow them to come online quite quick as well, as the Underlord doesn't really need much to be effective.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, that leaves our last picks. Ice needs a hero in the off lane. And of course, Gabby still requires a position 1. They are going to ban out the Jug. They've left the PA for now. And I still believe you go for the Terrorblade if you are Gabby. You could go PA. I think that's still fine. Well, we're going to find out soon. It doesn't really matter what we say. I'm sure TnC have an idea in their heads already.
Yeah, I'd say right now the Underlord pick does give TnC a way of holding down that Storm as well. So they've got the Pit, they can follow up with a Stomp, they can follow up with the Arrow. That's one way to get it done. You see the AM banned out here by Team Dog, so they do leave that Terrorblade and PA in the pool here. For TnC, we're going to have to see what TnC opts for. Not much reserve time here, so they're going to have to pick fairly quick, and Team Dog have last pick overall. They can pull a surprise out from under the rug here if TnC's not ready for it.
Very, very true, John. 3 seconds reserve time, in fact, for TnC to make this last decision, but they won't even use it. They will get the Troll Warlord, fair enough. So a very kind of early game or mid-game orientated draft with this DP Troll Underlord. Does seem quite potent, and of course into the Spectre. Later on, you're not going to enjoy versing the Spectre, but I suppose the idea is to not allow the game to get that late to begin with.
Yeah, and just try to push
5
down
seconds
fast. You've got the
remaining.
troll for towers, you've got the DP for towers. Gonna be key for Armel to use his cooldowns in the DP, so exorcism from a team fight into a tower is what we love to point out. And Armel's gonna have to meet that timing, meet that utility on the DP to secure some early objectives here. Pretty much what Team Dog did in that last game, right? Like they ran around with her troll, they melted towers quick with her Enigma as well. You want to see TnC replicate that sort of timing here if they want to have a shot at this Team Dog. Last pick comes in,
Now select
Enigma
your
again.
heroes.
Well,
Confidence here.
I mean, if it works, why fix it, right? It's not broken. Or maybe it is broken, because Team Dog made it look really good last game. And I think they're just kind of mirroring what TnC is doing. Like, you want to deny our creeps, we're going to deny your creeps. Both position ones are going to be poor as hell. And I guess that kind of reverts the game back to the position 2 role to see who kind of takes that over. It should still be Armel favored in the mid lane with that DP, but once you hit that level 6 mark, Arbet doesn't really care for the DP anymore. It'll be a very interesting game number 4, and of course TnC, their tournament and grand final lives are on the line. They need to win this game 4 to get to a game 5. And John, I will ask you the hardest question of all. Is this draft going to be enough to force it to a game number 5?
Is it enough? It can be. I worry about meeting the DP timings. That's always the biggest factor when we see that hero. Armel has to rotate perfectly, find the towers fast. Gabby has to be ready to shift between farm and push. Right, that's what we saw from In Your Dream last time. He'd come out, shove a wave, take a tower, go back in the jungle. He'd come out at the right times. Gabby needs to get that movement out here as well for TnC to take it. Still rather unfortunate that they didn't mark their team, but it's fine. Like, their names are tagged up, as you mentioned. But I would still give... I give Team Dog an edge. It's just Afu, Earth Spirit, Abed, Storm. Those are really scary heroes. And I think leaving them in the pool, TnC might be confident, but Team Dog can definitely make something happen with those pickups.
No, I can certainly agree with that, John. We are going to have a quick pause out, as it does look like Febby has disconnected from the game.
For your team, Armel.
Excuse me, Febby. No, not Febby. It was actually Paulson. I'm just so used to seeing Febby play Enchantress now. So,
Wait, it was Armel who paused. That's why Armel's like, pause for your team, Ice. Nice.
Storm was coming.
Hey, Ice is going to EG. He doesn't care anymore. He's all good.
You know what? I read in chat and I forgot to mention this. This is basically EG with 3 standards.
Right?
Yeah. Look at that.
There you go.
Southeast Asian EG. That's it. Hey, maybe we get the EG My Pro Dota 10. He asked for it on Facebook.
Speaking of, John, happy birthday to My Pro Dota. How could we forget? We haven't wished him happy birthday the whole tournament. Happy birthday to him. I'm sure he's celebrating somewhere, wherever he is. I believe he's still in Thailand right now, but can only guess. It is My Pro. He's a man of the world.
That he is. That he is. Still, 4. This is strange new territory for us in the best of 5, Mike. We haven't seen this kind of game in almost a year. So we'll see what they can pull out here on TnC's end. Team Dog, they've got these comfort picks, man. Afu, Earth Spirit, Abed, Storm with no instant hacks, but there is a silence, so I guess the DP silence is their biggest bit there. But so many comfort picks coming out. You can feel the confidence here from Team Dog going into this, and TnC gonna have to force something early here. Looks like they will scuffle over these runes.
They're gonna run into Paulison. Gabby gonna give him the hello. It's gonna cop a couple axes, nothing too big, just fine. Now gonna still try and fight this one out. Arfu gonna try and get the southern bounty rune, but Tim's is gonna be there, and looks like Arfu is gonna try for the roll, and he does get the bounty, but this may cost him his life as the arrow does not connect. Still gonna take a lot of damage out here. Gabby cutting him off from the other side, but Arfu is going to be able to survive in the end. It looks like he is just going to buy a salve straight off the bat and bring that out on the courier. He does not intend on making the run back to the fountain.
No, and that's perfectly fine. He wants to disrupt this lane, maybe get a pull going as well, just to ensure that Ice has the smooth start. We're not seeing the full creep wave deny, although it looks like he has held long enough that he's probably going to get the range creep as well. So Ice is off to that start he'd like. Of course, when you stack your creeps like this and you've got summons, Febby on the Elder Titan's going to have a good time with his Spirit Harassment. So you will have to watch out for his stapler hits. 41 damage, and Afu just gets blocked, and he's going to cop some hits here.
As far as Ice is concerned, that's Arthur's problem, John. He's Ice. He's perfectly fine with this. It's like, I'm not getting hit by the Elder Titan. What's the problem? I'm fine. The other lanes, while we still have a chance, of course, mid lane, Arbed and Armel going to be up against each other for the 4th time today. Armel, we talked about it in the drafting phase, but he should have the hero advantage with the DP up against the Storm. We did say that last game with the laner as well, though, and that's kind of the thing, right? He did win out the lane initially, but then Arbed just did Arbed things and caught up. So we'll see if Armel can get a massive advantage this time around, or whether it's going to be a bit of a similar story. And while I was talking about that, top lane, Tim's almost goes down, but eats a Fairy Fire and does survive. Get a salve out on the courier now, and will be able to just heal himself up. But back to the mid lane matchup, John. Do you think Armel can apply enough pressure here onto Arbed?
Well, he's got to be on point with his Spirit Siphon usage. He can clear out the wave fairly consistently with Crypt Swarm, but you have to watch out for when Arbed closes the gap and tries to throw off some of his remnants and gets a right click off. He isn't quite safe as his bottle's not quite there, but Arbed does have it already in, so regen's not an issue. Boils down to power rune control. 4-minute mark going to be big for both sides. You would want TnC to pay respect to the fact that the Storm is going to need it a lot more and throw the supports out. You do have the side lane supports there. I mean, you've got Tim's on his Mirana up top, right? That can alleviate some of that pressure. Of course, speaking of Tim's on that Mirana, they have had a bit of a harder time. Like, Tim's cops so much harassment out from Paulson this time around, is forced to TP home now. But they're doing their job. In Your Dreams, not finding that free farm we saw from game 1. 9-2 so far. You mentioned it in draft, but both cores not having very smooth times in terms of finding last hits. KP and Ice are just really annoying on their heroes.
And that's the thing, right? The thing is, though, when you look at the actual heroes themselves, looking at this is, if the Pulse 3s are going to get so much priority in their lanes, do you prefer the Unlord or do you prefer the Enigma? And just judging by last game, the way Ice played his Enigma, I'd say it's still going to be quite worrying for TnC if Ice is going to have a very free game on the Enigma. That being said, right now he's not. He's 10-10, has been focusing a lot on those denies, doing a great job of it. KP just pulling slightly ahead in terms of those off-laners right now. I suppose that should probably keep up for quite a while because it's Underlord. That's kind of what Underlord does.
Yeah. It's just a much more consistent wave clear with a Firestorm. Ice is, again, as you mentioned, focusing on this denies. Gabby is also sort of focusing on denies. He has 9 himself. So overall, our cores aren't falling too far behind as well. In Your Dreams, keeping up with 16 last hits. We are reaching those 4-minute power runes, so, and Abed's not lucky. He's down bot, but it is up top. Armel's going to have a little edge here, and that could hurt Abed if he stays in this lane too long.
He's going to stick around for now, but Armel's definitely going to get aggressive, having that power rune up on himself. Abed probably not going to die here, but he's going to take a fair bit of damage. Does have a TP coming in to fill up his bottle thanks to Arfu. In fact, they didn't fill up the bottle, they just gave him a salve. So Arfu probably just wasn't at the fountain at the time. Get the fountain buff. Does give a salve over, and that's just as good for Arbed.
Yeah, you are seeing Armel pull ahead in this lane though. 24-9, Abed not too far behind at 21-0, but I believe you have to count a couple of jungle creeps in there. So definitely a better start for Armel. This is what you'd want to see from the DP. Should have a smooth ride into level 6, where he might commit for the exorcism, and that's going to be an important timing for him.
Febby might be first blood. Arfu, the one to take it this time around on the Earth Spirit. I thought he may just want to give it over to Ice, but as the Earth Spirit, John, if you get this kind of first blood gold, you are very, very happy. It really sets you up for a nice game. Meanwhile, top lane KP is going to be forced to TP back towards his own fountain. But yeah, back to the Arfu Earth Spirit. I think he's going to be very excited with this bonus gold that just came in. Might even just go for a very quick earn.
He's got the initial gold to start off with if he wanted to go for it. And he's already active on the map. He's just not scared of TPing down mid to help out Abed. He knows the hero. He's got to babysit here, got to ensure that smooth start. A really interesting ward here from TnC. In that ramp, hidden away, tucked away nicely, so they will be able to spot when Abed farms. That does mean Tims can go contest if he wanted to. Paulson's there to cut him off.
He is still fighting over the ruins. Tims is going to get lucky with the haste, but try and hold on to it. In fact, never mind, he'll just take it as Armel wants to go for a kill attempt. They'll ignore Arbet and go after Paulson. It's going to be a very nice arrow coming in from Tims. Armel will be able to finish off the kill with the Crypt Swarm. To the mid lane, Stomp is out. Arbet does not have 6 yet, but they don't have the arrow follow-up from Tims. It was on cooldown, and he was out of mana anyway.
Radiant's
TnC
top tower is under attack.
to be able to go after that valuable Storm kill, but they're still going to be very happy with what they got.
Yeah, I mean, they're pulling ahead in that word slightly. 1k lead coming out here. You're seeing Gabby really pull ahead in his bot lane now. He's been left alone in comparison to what In Your Dreams copying up top. His Blade Mail timing's still not going to be too rough, but the Battle Fury timing for Gabby is going to be on point. So that's something for Team Dog to have to consider. Ice in this lane, he's just focused on farm, and he has pretty much just allowed Gabby to find equal amounts of farm, so you are giving the troll a bit of a smooth start here if you're not careful on Team Dog's end.
Yeah, it definitely is a great start here for Gabby. Malefic's going to come out. Going to do too much, just going to be annoying for this troll warlord. Still going to stick around happily, just making sure Ice can't start forcing in the bot tier 1 tower again. Top lane, we are going to have a rotation out from Armel, and he does have that ultimate available, so he might be just ready to go for that top tier 1 tower. And if they can get this top tier 1 and not allow the bottom tier 1 to go down, they are going to be feeling very, very good in terms of objectives. That being said, Ice is still set up there with Arfu to try and make that tier 1 bot tower push happen. Looks like In Your Dream is also going to stick around at the top tier 1. This could cost him his life. He does get caught by a rogue arrow, but
is under attack.
looks like Tims has already left the top lane anyway.
Ooh,
What happened, John?
He got rooted twice in a row.
Oh,
Just really unlucky with a double damage in
Radiant's
Gabi. If he got a
bottom
third
tower
one in a
is under
row,
attack.
that would just be very bad luck and a very dead Abed.
luckily for him, Gabby didn't have the battle trance off called. Didn't have the mana for it, so he couldn't really just secure the kill, I guess. Bot lane, In Your Dream, joining in there with Ice is going to be able to get the tier 1 tower, and now they want to go after KP. They have that black hole, they might just commit it, but Febby is there to cancel if need be. He'll pop the Astral Spirit down into the Stomp. KP now with no mana, he's just going to run with Febby. He's going to go after the Spectre. It's not quite enough damage though, but KP is going to walk out safe. I say that, the Malefice is there. Meanwhile, Gabby dies mid lane to Arbed. And KP is going to be fine. Gabby very far forward in the mid lane, does eventually get taken out by the Storm Spirit.
It's a big kill for Team Dog to find. They needed to slow down Gabby. They do somehow catch him out down mid. Abed gets to pick up the kill as well, so he bounces back a bit in that storm. You still have a slight lead here for TnC at around 1k. Most of that is riding on Armel, but you are still getting some gold out here on the side of Team Dog, although In Your Dream is fairly far forward. Has to be a bit careful. Blade Mail is flying out so you can find steady farm, and pings are coming out from Gabby, but there's no backup for Ice.
He's playing this Enigma so well. Just such an annoying kind of hero. Any hero you give Ice, he's just going to annoy the hell out of the enemy. Gabby, he's still farming great on the troll. It's like Ice just won't leave him alone. He's going to start working towards that mech again. Just the standard kind of build up on the Enigma. He is going to require In Your Dream to get a bit more farm up on this Spectre, but now he has the Blade Mail up, which means he is set to escalate. And of course, Arbet is just behind In Your Dream in net worth. The unspoken hero of TnC, though, is going to be Armel on the DP. He is very close to picking up that Yule Scepter. Obviously helped out in getting that top tier 1 tower. Now poor old Arfu is going to roll into an invisible target. He's going to try and make the run, but Tims is going to chase him down. They have the silence, but the arrow does not connect. But the Crypt Swarm will from Armel. Get another nice little pick off there for the DP. And now a quick Moonlight Shadow out as bot lane, KP is going to try and make the jump onto Ice. Ice is going to go for the TP. The stomp is not going to make it in time. And Ice, quick thinking there with that TP, is going to be just fine to get out.
Just again, stalled some movement out of duel.
And Battle Trance, he wanted that ensnare. He does not get lucky though. He just needed that one initial ensnare onto Abed, but the game would not give it to him.
Not finding it this time around. Abed, of course, playing on the edge as well, in trying to just find his farm. Overall, both teams just trying to maximize their farm efficiency right now. You are giving some space out to In Your Dream. It's clearing out the stacks as you would expect with the Blade Mail. Of course, Ice is just trying to work that bot lane and help In Your Dream as well. Because of the shared farming space though, that does mean Ice's timings is not going to be as hot, mainly because In Your Dream doesn't flash farm as fast as the troll with Battle Fury. Speaking of that troll, Gabby still waiting for his Perseverance to be out, so he's not farming as fast as he'd want as well, but Team Dog have smoked up his tree.
Try and make something happen.
Radiant's middle tower is
They're
under
not bringing Ice along. They don't have the black hole anyway, but it was up in 5. Then they spun out Febby, and they're just going to go for the easy pick-off on Field Titan, but Armel is going to be right behind them. Febby is going to die. Now the Haunt in. They want to try for Armel, it seems. Your Dream does come in. Eventually leaves it. Bother sticking around. Does actually Haunt back to the bot lane. It's just the last second, it seems, and well, it's only going to be one kill coming out here for Team Dog. Armel comes up. Arrow is going to be there, perfectly timed onto Arbet, and that's a massive pick. Great combo there from Armel and Tims. Does definitely pay off when you get that Storm Spirit.
Yeah, and that's a good Eul's reveal from Armel, ensuring that Abed now is going to have to be a bit wary. The Eul's into Silence is very potent, the Eul's into Arrow as well. That does mean he can't be as offensive as he'd like to be. There's a smoke now here as well from TnC. They want to keep going.
Radiant's bottom tower.
They do. Roll away, but he kind of rolls into them. KB going to come from the side, gets the Pit of Malice on, but now got the stop, but it's not going to be quite enough. In fact, Arbet is going to zip back in after Armel. Dark Rift immediately coming out from KP to ensure they get out safely. Phil wants a kick away, but he can't get it. But Febby was left behind. I don't think they realize he's there, as the Moonlight Shadow is still active. Febby is just going to stick around for a nice quick stomp out. Doesn't connect on Arbet anyway. Still a nice Dark Rift away from KP. Going to ensure that Armel is going to remain safe.
Yeah, it's a good play. It stalls out some time. It's time In Your Dream and Gabby are using to farm equally, although you are seeing Gabby really start to pull ahead even without that Battle Fury. Just much faster going through the camps, and he does finish the Battle Fury anyway as I say that. So farm acceleration going to kick up here for Gabby. You need to kind of make In Your Dream work, although
Peter Malice is going to catch him out a second time, but they have the arrow follow-up anyway. Nafu going to be the second unfortunate victim of that Eul's arrow combination. Out from Armel and Tims. Pollison get caught. KP. Well, nice Pit of Malice just on the edge there on Pollison. It's not going to be long enough, but maybe if this arrow connects, would have been, but they will not connect it. Still looks like TnC have found a double stack in the jungle. They'll happily just give that over to KP. More than happy to take that off the hands of Team Dog. Pollison still playing with fire here. Stomp does connect. Arrow is going to be there to follow up, and that is a dead Enchantress.
Pretty nice pickups there for TnC. Not the biggest targets to go for. They have cleared out the top jungle. They've taken these as well, and they're forcing Team Dog to play a bit more passively. There is a smoke out now from Team Dog though, but the enemy team is on the opposite side, so it doesn't look like they'll be able to find anything beyond some creeps, and Abed just starts farming up. Not going to amount to much. They have this blink up on Ice. This is interesting. He rushes the blink first, doesn't really have his mech up, doesn't even have the PKs up as well. So a different approach for Ice in this game. We'll see if he can maximize that blink. This does mean he wants to be offensive with the black holes.
Yeah, I think what the idea is they've noticed that TnC has hit a pretty decent timing. Like, you look at the top net worth right now, and it is Armel just very closely followed by Gabby. And it does feel as though Team Dog are lacking the team fight. So it doesn't seem like a very easy game for the Enigma this game around. So I don't actually disagree with Ice going for that blink this time. I think it is probably the way to go to try and force the game going back your way. And of course, unlike last game, much more about the Spectre, right, over the Enigma.
It's all about getting that farm in your dream. Kind of stalled out since the Blade Mill does have his Yasha up, but he's at least maintaining a small gap between Gabby. So Gabby, even with the Battle Fury, isn't pulling ahead in a massive amount. Currently just about 400 gold up, which is still manageable for the Spectre. Issue right now for Team Dog is that you need farm in your Spectre, and you need farm in your Storm, and you need farm in the Enigma. Your Enigma is going to be caught from the short end of that stick. But even Abed's not having a fantastic run here. Only has the Kaya, still saving up for the Bloodstone, and beyond that, I think he's going to need a BKB this game for sure.
Absolutely.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They're just hiding in the trees. Bebby would have loved to spot him out there, but not going to be able to see him, and Abed will zip away. It's like Ice does want to finish off the BKB before they get started with that blink. Just picks it up preemptively to make sure if they need it, they have it.
Smoked up and they see Gabby.
Big pick off, roll in, is going to be there, and they just zip straight in with Abed and In Your Dream. No wasting any time. That'll be it, In Your Dream. Gonna horn back into the mid lane now, back onto Armel and just run away. And that is a very big pick off to get, especially when you consider how close the position ones are right now. It's going to allow In Your Dream to actually overtake Gabby in terms of net worth. For the first time in this game, they might even get this mid tower as now zip in once again from Abed is going to be onto KB. They do kill off Hollison. KB trying to run. Abed doesn't really have the damage output even with the DD rune. Instead, they'll try into Febby. In Your Dream still just moving forward, but Febby's still alive. Eventually, In Your Dream will be able to kill him off, but now Armel coming in. Does has the Spirit Siphon, and they might get this Spectre, and will. In Your Dream going a bit too far forward. And Abed seemed to have the right idea there by backing off, but the other two did not get the memo. TnC, they're rushing for the Roshan pit now.
It's going to be a really easy rush to take. It got the Exorcism pop here from Armel. They know there's no haunt, they know there's no black hole. It's super safe to go for this objective. Team Dog, you've got to reel in that aggression a bit. You've got the Spectre, you need to play the slow game, or at least match the pace of TnC. They overextend, and now they're going to be punished for it. Ice did spot out the movement, but he can't really do much. So Gabby's got a second life, and all of a sudden, even if he was picked off in the jungle, he is back ahead on top of In Your Dream. And they do have a much more significant lead now here in TnC. 2K now, so a clear lead going the way of the Radiant. And Team Dog, well, they've got to play this waiting game. They need to wait for Abed to be big. They need to wait for In Your Dream to be big. But TnC are not going to allow them to wait in peace.
No, they are not. TnC, they're doing a great job this game. 3k net worth lead. With this draft, you still have timings to hit. You don't want to slow down too much. Just going to keep it up. CSNY is up on Gabby. They'll probably just keep going. In fact, they'll just keep going now with the Moonlight Shadow. Nice. Going to be spotted out by Gabby, and that's going to be a very valuable kill. Gabby has very nice damage on that troll right now. Take Tim's with the Starfall to get the kill, but it won't matter. As long as they get the kill, they're happy. Spectre, it still just needs so much more time to be up and online. At least they'll have the matter up soon, but they couldn't ask for it any sooner as now Gabby's coming back in. Baby. Love a stomp out on In Your Dream.
Dire's top tower is under
like his Astral Spirit is not really going to be able to reach anyway. Now going to be forced to just back out and try to find another opportunity when they get the chance.
The prize is mine.
They are using this map a lot more efficiently though on the side of TnC. They have built up a good amount now. You've got the SNY running on Gabby, and he is #1 net worth now. So definitely pulling ahead here on the side of TnC. Team Dog, it does feel greedy. Like this Tricore is just so greedy. You need to play the long game. I'd say they might want to wait 10 minutes. The 30-minute mark is when you'd probably be cleaned up here, finished up on Ice and on Abed especially, and in your dream. Abed does get enough space to clear a tier 2, so they get some nice gold. He is playing with fire.
Oh, in your dream, they spotted out the Spectre, but the slow's not going to be there. Still Armel does get the Yule Scepter off. In your dream, trying to run. He's been stopped up. Tims jumps in. The Earth Spirit is going to be there. He pops the Blade Mail, barely avoiding it, but it is not going to be enough. He does go down. That's a massive pick off for TnC now as they go after Paulson as well. Gabby wants the last hit, gets the last hit. 4K net worth lead, a very valuable pick off. And TnC go after an objective. It looks like the mid-tier 2 tower is going to be that objective.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Able to find it. In your dream is unfortunately positioned there. Abed does have his Bloodstone almost ready to go, and it is up. So your Storm has a little bit more regen, more presence in these fights, but he still has issues being controlled up. The ults into silence, the ults into arrow is still going to be a massive issue. That just means you might want to wait for the BKB to be up on Abed before you make any sort of committal. Ice as well still lacks the gold for the recipe. So there's a lot more waiting to do here. And TnC, you're seeing the effect of their push strat. Gabby melts towers with not much committal at all, and they get to pocket that exorcism for a big fight.
Absolutely.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
That tier 1 bot tower does go down.
What have we
Still just being very patient here, TnC. Not in too much of a rush. They're happy to just wait it out a little bit. Don't give any kind of opportunity away.
Radiant's middle tower
Team Dog,
is
as
under
one
attack.
mistake could mean the end of this game for them if they're not careful. You are still versing a
Radiant's
Spectre
middle
after
tower
all.
has fallen.
Speaking of that Spectre, they may run into her now as Gabby with the Moonlight Shadow is going to spot him out. They are moving up towards the north, where they did also see Ice on the Enigma. Ice in the tree line, but Gabby, he can smell him. TP away, Gabby, can you get lucky? Oh, the first hit snare comes out. Disgusting. First hit in snare. What are the chances again? Like 20% chance. 1 out of 5 chance to connect it, and he does.
1 out of 5 times. It works every time, Mike. Still,
True.
Gabby can be very pleased with himself. They are still finding a lot off the map here. They're stalling out Ice's BKB. He's just not really comfy now doing anything. He's just trying to use a dead lane as much as possible, giving space towards Abed, giving space towards In Your Dream. He's still setting up a fort. He's Scotty on In Your Dream. Still long ways off. Not even close. Abed as well. BKB gonna be queued up. Only has enough for the Ogre Axe. Nothing else. Slowing down. And they really just aren't as efficient right now as TnC. Can't work the map. They've lost control of their top jungle. They only really have the triangle that's safe. Every other spot is a risk right now. And this is surprising. I mean, we were hyping up the Afu Earth Spirit, but he hasn't been able to get as much aggression past that laning phase. And that is kind of costing him here.
Abed? That was a very dangerous sim. I thought he was trying to go for a TP out. Abed! I believe he misclicked. I'm pretty sure he wanted to TP.
Gabby's calling him he's a busted head. He's crazy, and Abed says he was sleepy. He fell asleep, apparently. Abed actually fell asleep while hitting that, so maybe he needs a monster.
True. Someone get Abed a monster. ASAP. They're in game 4 of a grand final and Abed's falling asleep.
Zips in, walks up to the fountain.
Brings it back. He's just following what Anna does, John. That's what he's doing. He's following the Anna strategy, just trying to fall asleep in the middle of a grand final.
That's right. Still, he stalled out long enough. Ice has his BKB, so Black Hole BKB in play could be the turnaround for Team Dog if they find her angle.
The prize is mine.
Will they, though?
Over here now.
Yeah, I'm not 100% confident in going in. They are just grouped around in your dream. Trying to go for the Skadi. He's going to be a while off, but he can at least afford an ultimate orb. Meanwhile, Gabby, Basher into BKB. He's going to be feeling very confident once that BKB's up. Of course, the Bloodstone that was picked up on Armel just helps him have even more sustain in these team fights. Whether they're getting enough off the map with this Troll DP is another question entirely, but it does feel as though they are, and they might even find another Spectacule. The Dream will pop the Manta and just run.
It's a cautious game from both sides. TnC, they know they're ahead. They don't, as you mentioned, they don't want to give any openings, so they're just taking it slow. We'll see the next Roche respawn in about 17 seconds. Once we know that timing, that is probably what TnC is going to eye for next. Now, it is riskier to take that Roche. You've got the BKB on ice for the Black Hole. You've even got a BKB on Afu. Again, stalling out to get their pause forwards in a spot where they can make something happen. And that should allow some angles here for Afu. It is a long Roche as well, full 3-minute respawn. So it's on the longer side, and that just means TnC gets to farm for 3 more minutes.
I mean, he's going to be able to farm up the Eye of Skadi pretty darn quick at this rate on the Spectre. It's going to be a very nice feeling. Remainers 5 grouped up going into the Radiant jungle. Everyone being very, very cautious about their positioning as they will try for the outpost take. Looks like Afu's going to be able to sneak that one away. TnC, they're just happy hanging out in their triangle. I believe they are both just waiting for the next Roshan. Unfortunately for TnC, it is still going to be another 2 minutes, so it is a long timer.
Just
not really going to be able to get a quick Roshan while they have this big advantage.
Just a patience game for both sides. Is allowing some catch up, but the gap is growing wider here for TnC. 9k up now. I have to say, I appreciate that In Your Dream still holds on to this shared tango. It's like he treasures it. It's a gift from Ice. Just keeps it in the backpack. That's a good luck charm.
Out, John. It is a good luck charm. Very nice stuff. Everyone else just, you know, back to fun. I mean, they don't have the same thing on TnC, obviously. Gabby's a man of business right now. I don't need to waste any slots.
I mean,
farm going on.
Got this branch, so
someone else's branch though, John.
It looks like his branch, unfortunately.
Guarantees a good game though.
That's true.
It's, one positive. They do
smoke out here from Dog. They scanned out a Roche, but there's no Roche, and it does pop out, so not sure if the smoke will lead to anything here.
Well, Fu's going to casually roll in. Could go after the courier if he wants, but the smoke hasn't broken yet. So they might be able to still get something out of this. But the problem is TnC is continuously just holding this high ground on the Radiant Triangle. And you just can't go up that high ground without risking your whole team getting wiped out. They haven't got the vision there either. So it's very, very tough to go up there. Because you can haunt for vision, but it's not how you want to use it.
Nah. Really awkward sentry ward drop there from Afu as well. It was spotted out. They knew someone was smoked up, which meant that TnC was just going to group up and wait for something to pass, and they are moonlit up now.
They are underneath the sentry ward though. It's going to make it a little bit hard to initiate here for KB, but he does block off that pathway. Almost daring them to try and come in after him as he goes to the outpost now. They do jump in now with the Midnight Pulse, just trying to burst out the Unlord on KP. It is going to go down, and perhaps they overestimated how strong they were. The Black Hole now comes out. Oh, Gabby, he ran into the Black Hole. He will be all right. Armel does die, however, Gabby's going to have to try and fight this one out for the team. They will go after Arthur and take down the Earth Spirit. On to In Your Dream, he pops the Blade Mail, but it is going to be nowhere near enough. So much damage on the Troll Warlord right now. Wolf back on KB is Arbed. That's a very cheeky zip TP, sir. Very, very cheeky indeed, and he did not get the bounty he wanted.
Oh boy. It's a costly fight to lose. They got impatient. The Roche respawns. Second Roche of the game, looking like it will go the way of TnC. No black hole here to interrupt. Ice is keeping eyes though. Do they know the Roche is going? Maybe we see Abba try to zip. He's sort of close by. He could try for a steal, but I think it's risky.
Korea's coming in. But be worried about this, and it looks like they got the Aegis on Gabby. The cheese was on Pulse's courier. So Paulson gets something.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a consolation prize for Team Dog, so they could just hand that to Abed. Once the courier respawns, can be nice on your Storm. He is inching closer towards his BKB as well, Abed. And once you've got that, I think it will fix a lot of your issues in going into these fights. You are still facing up against an 8k deficit. Gabby is going to find your stacks as well. So the farm on this troll just grows bigger and bigger. Very close towards picking up that Abyssal as well. In fact, it's done.
There it is.
Troll Abyssal, it's ready. He's just ready to rip through. And Team Dog still don't have a clear answer. They got a good black hole. Wasn't enough there.
Was not. I mean, you say good black hole, it landed on one and Gabby ran into it. I don't know, I feel like you need a much bigger black hole than that to turn this game around, for now at least. It's like Arbet's stepping across the map again. He's going to TP back to the fountain. Your dream is being bodyguarded by our Fu right now. Sure that nobody can go after the Spectre without his permission. Gotta say, I mean, Gabby's troll, even at this stage of the game, up against the Spectre, he seems to be hitting so darn hard. It just doesn't feel like the Spectre's as big of a late game powerhouse as bot lane Paulson. He's gonna get caught out by Armel and Tims, and very slowly but surely will die, and does. Sort of pick up there for Armel.
Yeah, they did manage to force the BKB out from Gabby with the zip around of Abed, and he does hand the tip over to Gabby. They waste the charge in exchange for the support. Not a good monetary trade, but certainly helps them find some angles as the charge is going down. I think the issue here, when you're pointing out with In Your Dream feeling squishy, he doesn't have enough items. The gap between In Your Dream and Gabby's about 6k gold. That's one major item that Gabby has that you don't have in Your Dream. He also is lagging behind in levels. He's level 20 on the spec, which is nice, but Gabby's at level 23, so there's a major gap in EXP spikes, and it just makes it a lot easier to manage the Spectre.
Holding down that Spectre right now as we were speaking there, John, but they aren't going to make the jump in. Back to that die triangle, back to just farming up a little bit, but TnC eventually will pop that smoke. Aeon Disc now even up onto KB to make sure he kind of has his own secondary life, making it that much harder to go through the Underlord. Armel will go up to the top lane, trying to scout out if he can find someone there, but nobody's going to be around that tree line. That Crypt Swarm is such a low cooldown.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
1.8 seconds.
Yep, that's with the level 20 talent and the quickening charm, yeah, that's a it's like a machine gun.
It's a little bit silly, John, I'm not gonna lie. How often you can spam this, I guess it's not that powerful. It's very good at D-push though.
Pretty funny to watch. Either way, it's just constantly shoving it out. Look at those free creeps from the Eidolons. Ice got microed him. We'll pull them back, but you are facing issues here still for Team Dog. Triangle's invaded, your jungle's still not the safest. Gabby's got the DD.
Gabby? Roll in, Arthur, kickback is nice onto the high ground. They could get through the Aegis, but no, the BKB out from Gabby is going to ensure he denies them that right into Arfu now. He's been rooted up. Tim's not going to go for the arrow. We'll wait out the BKB of Arfu. Close call there for Gabby. He could have lost that secondary life, but it's not going to be the case. Just nice plays out from TnC. They just continue dominating the map. It's a very, very slow game, but the longer this goes on, the more farm Gabby and Armel get. No reason to rush for them.
Yeah, they're just able to build up at a really good pace. At the least, Team Dog does have this BKB up on Abed. He's saving up for his Ags next. So once you have this AoE Vortex, things become a lot better for Team Dog. And you start to line up towards that late game vision you have with these heroes. I think the one boon for Team Dog is that their tier 3 stand. They haven't been under any pressure yet for the tier 3, so TnC haven't managed to really eke out anything with his Aegis, as it does expire on Gabby. But Gabby, for his part, is saving up for the Silver Edge. So you're going to have the break to deal with a Spectre. In Your Dream is not going to be reflecting as much damage as he'd want, as he'd reflect no damage with Dispersion broken off. So you've got to watch those timings that Gabby's going to be picking up. And he is still under no threat. He's just left alone. Does pick up the Reaver first, so maybe going for a, I don't know, Satanic first, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Yeah, it looks like it. Flying out. There it is.
Very nice. Yeah, the Solar Crest now even up on Tim's, just making it that much harder to get through the life of Gabby. Sounds like a movie. In Your Dream. Such a slow process now for the Spectre. He is holding it to 4.2k. Has to use the Manta to dodge out that arrow coming in from Tim's. While we're waiting, by the way, John, how are you feeling in that Barong right now? Because it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
You
it's all right.
You feeling the heat, sir?
It's okay. It's actually not too bad. It's a cool night. In the afternoon, it was rather warm.
Right.
Now it's all right. It's chill. It's chilly. How are you doing, Santa?
It's a very hot night, John. I'm dedicated, is all I can say. Moonlight Shadow is out. TnC, they want to try and find a pick off for themselves. They are not running towards any hero though, so this Moonlight is going to be more of a let's relocate to the left side of the map, take over the other side of the jungle, or give their triangle back for a bit. There's no creeps there anyway. Wyatt's going to jump in. Black Hole is going to be there. They're trying to burst out Gabby, but he got the BKB off in time. I don't think they have enough. Gabby's going to turn around now with the Abyssal Blade. Back on eyesight sight. He'll get one. And now, well, the Spectre, she really is not that tanky, John. In Your Dream's going to die. Pulse has gone as well. Arfu tries to roll in onto Tim's, but that was not the idea. They will lose a fourth hero. The only person left was Arbit, but the buybacks do fly out. The whole team had buybacks ready to go. In Your Dream, the only one to not buy back yet. They don't have Black Hole though. How do you defend this? Arthur is going to kick Gabby back. The Vortex out from Arbed. Maybe they get Gabby, and they do. The Dire, the one to claim the kill is Arbed. He gets another. Onto Tim's now. They need everything they can get. They'll go onto Tim's Mirana. They will get him as well. Ooh. And overall, I mean, you had to commit, I believe it was 3 buybacks on the side of Team Dog. But that's the first real team fight they've won in about 30 minutes. So I'd say you may be happy about that.
You're definitely happy. You managed to get some good punishment out. Finally killing off Gabby just makes that swing pretty worthwhile. You are down buybacks. You can see because of the buybacks flying in as well, the gap has widened to 22k. Really... I mean, that felt really hasty from Ice. Like he was getting itchy fingers from sitting around. It does cost them, but I guess they salvaged the situation. They could find this last tier 1 up top, but the Fortify does pop in. They've got some space to farm up their tier 4 items, which is the big one, as if they didn't find those kills, they'd be stuck in your base. So they do find at least that coming in. In Your Dream has, what's he queuing up? He's got the Sacred Relic queued up. It looks like a Nullifier is going to be the name of the game here for a spec. We'll see if it does pay off. He's still feeling really squishy. This is a level 23 Spectre. Not many items flying in, just the Scotty Manta plus Blade Mail. Progression sort of stalled out. We're going to have to see something pay off here. Abed is about 50 gold off his Ags. So once you have this Ags up, Abed should be able to get control there. Yeah, it's flying out now. Now he just needs to not die as he has no buyback.
It's very true. But it seems like they're going to have time to farm up that buyback. Or I say that, Roshan is up in 10 seconds. So maybe he doesn't. However, you've got a double black hole on Ice. You've got the mini black hole on Arbed now. Things to be very worried about if you are TnC. And even though you've got this 19k net worth lead, you lose another team fight. I can almost guarantee that's going to be halved straight away. Still TnC, they're going to get started on the Roshan. They want to try and rush this ASAP. Smoke will be popped around Gabby. Team Dog, it looks like they're not even going to bother trying and contest this. They are going to just go for those T4 items while they can and maybe farm up those buybacks. That is going to be an Aghanim's Blessing though, that will go to Armel. Happily take that for himself. But look at this, John. Arbed, he got a timeless relic now. So,
Yep, of course.
everything lining up very nicely.
Yeah, he was playing poke with Gabby as well, but this does mean so much more value with that Ags pickup. We're gonna have to see if the impact's gonna be there as Moonlight Shadow's out from TnC and they are hungry for blood now.
That they are. Even in your dream with that Penta-Edged sword up on the Spectre, going to be feeling quite nice. Moonlight Shadow from TnC, not really going to find anything, but well, now for TnC, it's a matter of what you do this game. So it feels like the game has become infinitely harder with that Refresher Orb on Ice and with the Ags on Arbed. It's basically how they lost game number 3. They're going to Dark Rift up towards the top lane, and it looks like they might be ready to try and make a high ground push happen with this Aegis. With the Axe Blessing on the DP, however, Fu rolling in. It looks like they're going to go on to Armel. The Black Hole going to be committed. Armel, he's just going to die. Gabby is there with the Abyssal Blade after Ice. Another Black Hole going to come out, though it's not going to be enough. Gabby does take him out. Onto In Your Dream. They get that Spectre as well. No buyback, but Arbed comes in for a Vortex, but they don't have the damage output.
Radiant's
Fu going to keep the Magnetize going. Bebby dropping low, but he is going to be okay. Back to the fountain for him. Meanwhile, Arfu is caught out now by Armel and is going to die. And everything is going to be just fine
top tower is under attack.
for the side of TnC. Is now with 3 heroes down with that buyback. They should be able to get Megas up and probably just finish the game off, and they are. They're going to try. It's going to be a very hard defense with just your Storm. He's going to go for the creep wave from the backlines, but he's been caught out. Arrow does connect. The tips do also come out as Divine brought out by Gabby, but the GG's been called. Arbed's had enough of Game 4, and we are officially, for the first time in BTS Pro Series history, going to a Game 5.
Took 4 seasons, Mike, but that coveted Game 5 makes it its appearance. TnC